to CSAF. And so we're pleased to share with you some new things here. This is the login page for the new Givingtrend application. And I think Kathy will probably take you through a little of the mechanics of how we will transition going forward. But we want to let you know that over the past number of, really over this last year, we have worked to revamp, apply new technology, and really provide an updated new application for Givingtrend. And so it looks a little different, it functions a little differently, but as many of you know, if you've used the application, we've always worked very hard to be a very friendly, user-friendly application. We have kind of taken the approach that if you can log into your, your personal bank account and navigate around to kind of find your balances and things of that, and detail and things of that nature, then you can probably find your way through Givingtrend. And so we've kind of used that as a standard for making sure that the application is easy to use. Those of you who are, who are Arcadies, if there are any of you out there, you might recognize this graphic here. My wife actually is a Katie, and so this is kind of a special image. It's the door of the chapel there on the campus. So I'm going to log in here and take you through a walk through this new application. As I mentioned, I'm sure that Kathy will provide details in terms of how we will transition. We're not going to do this immediately. We wanted to show you this new application, give you a feel for what it looks like. I'm always available if anyone needs some personal help or maybe a personal walkthrough. Happy to do that after this this time. But basically, we will do some training like this, some exposure to the application, and then a date in the future will be set, kind of near future, near term, to transition over to the new application. So when you log in today, you're not seeing exactly this view, this application, but this is what's coming in the next couple of weeks or so. So I'm going to log in here. And by the way, this is a test database. It's a demonstration database. You won't have to log in anywhere new. It'll be the same place. You'll just see this new login screen. So that's important to note. Login name, username, and password. There is, as you might have seen there, a forget password link on that login page. So if you need that, click it. We can help you get into the application if you need any assistance. So this is what the new application looks like. So same information. So I want to be really careful to point that out. We're providing the same information as always, just hopefully some additional information and a little easier to use. One of the things I'll point out really quickly here is that some of you may have noticed, and just in all candor, some of you may have noticed that the application seemed to be slow in transitioning from, maybe if you have access to multiple parishes, from switching to a different parish, or maybe switching to one of the tabs across the top. That's a function of technology, and that was one of the main reasons as well that we wanted to update the application. Better backend database, technology, more updated, those kinds of things. And so the benefit, one of the benefits there is speed, faster access to data, and you'll see that it clicks through a lot more quickly. So we're happy to provide that as well. So when you log in, I'll just point out navigation along the left-hand side now. There is still navigation across the top, which is a little different, and I'll just walk you through that first. Over at the top here, you'll see your username and a date, and you're probably accustomed to knowing that that date tells you when the application has been most recently updated. There's an automatic process that occurs with CSAF. So our Givingtrend application talks to the Razor's Edge application, which is where all gift processing happens at CSAF. And it's a very kind of seamless, fast approach to providing new information. So it's regularly updated, actually several times a day. And so you can know that the information is recent by what you're seeing up here. I'll click the little icon there. You can see the username, and there's an option to log out, the top right, okay? So let's move over to the left here. I want to point out this area here where you see campaign overview and you see diocesan annual appeal. That's the campaign. This next level is the number of campaigns. You will only see, of course, one campaign because for CSAF, there is one campaign. So this is kind of a pathway or a breadcrumb, if you will, where it will show you you're on campaign overview, you're on the diocesan annual appeal, and you'll see in a bit here when I log into a specific parish that it will show me that particular parish that I'm on. That's really important for those of you who may have access to more than one parish, and I know that there are several of you who have access to 2 or more parishes. Perhaps you're a business administrator that serves more than one parish, pastor that serves more than one parish, etc. So this along the top is designed to help you understand where you are in the application. So that is the top here area. You'll notice, as I said, there'll be one campaign. You won't see multiple campaigns here with CSAF. So the idea is you log in, you can see what the campaign is that you're on, and then the navigation over along the left-hand side is where you're going. So where you land is the campaign overview. So this is the entire campaign. This is all parishes aggregated together. So you can see how the campaign is going, in time, if you will. This box top left, I know you're very accustomed to seeing it. We'll look at this at the parish level, but again, at the high level campaign, the goal, the total amount pledged and received. When we get to the parish, we'll talk about these numbers, but this is the high level. Here's where the campaign is for all parishes. A graphic of some of those numbers, if you will, the goal, the amount, the pledges, and the amount of cash received. Cash received, of course, being very important. This appeal performance is really useful information in that year over year, it is showing all of the different mailings and activities. So for example, the major mailing that CSAF does is the first direct mail. There are several follow-up mailings. There's also the in-pew process. There's online gifts that come in. These are what we call appeals, and it's designed here to give you what is the performance of those appeals year over year of, for example, the first mailing. And that gives you this here, and it shows you whether it's up or down or what the status of that is. So this is a lot of information, and so it does require you to scroll, but that's what this appeal performance it is. It's designed to give you how did this particular mailing perform, the first mailing, the follow-up mailings, the year-end mailings, et cetera, in-pew, et cetera, year over year. So that's what appeal performance is. This year over year campaign comparison, of course, is multiple years. How has the campaign performed on the goal basis and versus the actual cash received is what this particular historical graph is. This participation indicator, there are some updates being done to this. You'll see this change over time. You probably noted we had a campaign kind of thermometer type of a graphic. We're doing this a little differently now. You'll see some labeling come into play in this soon, but it'll show the year and the number of participants. It's designed for you to look and say that this year you had this many participants, last year you had so many participants, et cetera. So you can keep an eye on that. This graphic here is one that we get a lot of requests for information on. Week of the campaign, starting with week number 1 down here, 2, 3, 4, et cetera. And basically what this is doing is it's comparing how the campaign is doing in week 1, which I'll talk about in a moment, versus last year. So keep in mind that the week of the campaign value changes every year, right? Because it may start in a different week. So for example, maybe it starts in mid-February one year versus it starts in early January in a different year. The system's designed to align that week of the campaign so you can see how things are going based on when the campaign activities actually started. So I'm going to jump over now to the location tab. And this is where we start to look at your particular parish. So again, very important information. Many are looking here in Givingtrend to get this information for the bulletin, which is wonderful. Obviously, as much as you can communicate to parishioners is always helpful. And so we're providing, your particular goal, the total pledged and received, recurring gift, recurring received, and so on and so forth. And I'm going to walk through these numbers here just briefly because I think this is important so that everyone understands what do these numbers really mean. Now, forgive me if you know this, and I'm sure many of you do, but I know this is an important part of what Givingtrend does, is to provide these numbers, and what they mean is obviously really important. As you can, I'm sure, tell, the graphics are the same as on the campaign overview. So you have the appeal performance, you have giving levels, which is something that's a part of the location or parish here. You have that graphic that shows the goal, the amount pledged, and the cash received, year-over-year comparison, that week of the campaign participation. So that said, let me walk through these numbers. Obviously, the goal is your particular parish goal. The total pledged and received are pledges and one-time cash gifts. So that's important because that's your progress against the goal for the current campaign. So if you take the total of everything pledged and you take the one-time cash gifts, those parishioners who have said, I'm going to write one check, give one gift at one time, I'm not going to give over, let's say, monthly or weekly or whatever it may be. It's just one-time cash gift. That's what total pledged and received means. That's the number you want to look at to say, this is where we're at against our goal. So that's why it's right next to the goal number, okay? Recurring gift and recurring gift received is folks who have said, for example, charge my credit card $10 a week. I want to do that in perpetuity until I say stop. So this is designed to tell you the amount of those recurring gifts. Recurring gift received is the actual amount received for this campaign of those recurring gifts. Amount received is cash, and that's important, right? So cash received is what amount received is. So that's payments on pledges, and it's one-time cash gifts and any recurring gifts. So if you are looking, let's say you're getting to the end of the campaign and you're looking, what's the cash that we've received? That's an important number, right? That's where you want to be able to really get down to say, okay, the pledges are probably being fulfilled at that point. It really gets down to now, how much cash have we actually collected in the campaign? That amount received is that number. Over and under goal, of course, under is going to be in parentheses for those of you who are accountants. Percent of goal pledged, that's on a pledged basis, right? So you can say, okay, we have this much in pledges. Here's where we are against our goal based on pledges. And then percent of goal received based on cash. So cash is, is probably a little different than what the actual pledges are. So average gift amount is an important metric. You'll notice that your parish probably has an average gift that ranges in a relatively stable area per year. And that's an important metric to keep an eye on as to is your average gift staying, at a certain level. And then the number of donors, the number of parishioners participating in the campaign is an important metric as well. So just to go through those numbers, obviously status as of a certain date here, and this is probably what a lot of you are using to provide information in your bulletin. So let me click on the little arrow next to location in the left menu. And for those of you who have access to more than one parish, you're going to see the parish listed here. So that is, one moment here. That is how you would access a different parish. I would simply click that on and you'll see the data changes. I'm happy to note, because I know that some of you would notice that the application in all candor has been kind of slow. That's a function of older technology. And I guess, as I said, one of the reasons why we've invested in this upgrade. You'll notice here across the top, as I mentioned before, that it's showing that I'm on campaign overview, I'm on the appeal, and I'm on a specific parish. So that tells me where I'm at. I can click on another parish. You can see how quickly the data changes out here. Obviously note that this list of parishes is driven based on what you have access to. So if you don't have access to a certain parish, you're not going to see the parish name there or have access to that data. That's something obviously that is kept very securely. So if you have access to 2 parishes, you'll see those listed here. The way that you expand or contract that is this little arrow here off to the right of the location menu item. And I can click on a button here, click on a parish, and I see that parish's data. Okay, I'm going to keep moving here. I know that we want to watch the time. Go to the gift data tab. This is another area that I know many of you use. This is a list of your donors. So you can click on gift data and you see for the current campaign a list of donors and the status of their gift. So the amount pledged, the amount paid, a balance due there. If there's a one-time cash transaction or one-time gift to the campaign, then that's going to be listed here as well. Very easy to get your list of donors this way. And very easy to check to see if a gift has been received. Also an easy way to see if a payment has been received. If you receive questions on, I sent my check in, I'm not sure if it's been received or not by CSAF, this would be the first place to look to see exactly what has been credited to the donor's account. This button over here, download, will render an Excel file. Now, I want to note here, and we get this question occasionally, is you see here that in my version of Chrome, which is what we're using, and it's, by the way, what we usually recommend you use, is that it opens up a link to the file. I want to point out that this is not a function of Givingtrend. This is a function of how your browser and your workstation is set up. You might see it appear as a download like it is here, where you see a window popped open. You might see it appear down on the bottom where a window pops open. Whenever you're essentially downloading a file from a website, that's how this is going to act. And different browser versions, different updates on browsers, different configurations on workstations cause this to perform a little differently. So if you're not exactly seeing where that download is, where that file is rendering itself, you can always go to your folder here to File Explorer, and it should appear in Downloads. So if I click that open, I can see, I could go to Downloads here, and I would see those files here. So that's another way to do that if it's not just readily popping up for you. And again, we get that question occasionally, and you might be familiar with how your browser and your workstation is rendering download files, but that's essentially how that works there. All right, I'm going to keep moving forward, going to reports. So I want to say something about the reports. You'll see that as you render a report here, you choose a report in the left-hand menu, this sub-menu here. I've clicked on reports. The reports that are available are here in this sub-menu on the left. And then again, I can click a list of parishes. If I have a list, if I have access to 2 parishes, I should see 2 parishes here. If I have access to 1 parish, I should see 1 parish here. So I'll just choose one. You always want to make sure that you're choosing the campaign year. It should default to the current campaign year. I can select my campaign and click refresh. There is this additional bar with some additional tools that are available. So I can increase the size of this, I can decrease the size of it, I can print it, I can save, I can move among pages, I can search. So that's available in the reporting section. Now, I want to point out here too, that when your version of Givingtrend is made live for you, this new version, there are these standard reports here. And this, by the way, the Libent report is what you're accustomed to receiving by email. The CSAF does this through the Givingtrend application to, proactively send you the information, on Fridays, so that if you're looking for that information, you can see basically what's been processed for the week. This report is available to you at any time by logging in and just clicking the report here that's available. Now, the important thing to notice is that when we bring up the new application for you, there's an enhancement here that, in all honesty, you might need some help with, and we're happy to help you. We're happy to walk you through, but it's a reporting tool that basically allows you to come up with any kind of report you want. There have been, by a handful of folks, requests for some specific reports, and rather than build various versions of different reports and to try to get exactly what each parish might want, what we've done is we've added a really robust reporting engine that will allow you to pick and choose kind of a drag and drop methodology of different report fields, put them on the report and sort them in different ways and do different calculations and that kind of thing. If it's something that you need assistance with, we're happy to help you with that. All you have to do is reach out to us, but know that that reporting tool, you'll see that available here. And that is being made available to CSAF to really give you a very robust reporting option. There is the ability over here, as has always been the case, to render these reports in Excel, Word, a PDF report, or as just a straight image. And so if you need any of those, that's just the way to get that. The same rule applies, really. It comes in as a drop down, or I'm sorry, a download on your workstation. And that you can then do what you need with it. You can manipulate the Excel file, obviously, which is why a number of folks wanted Excel versus if you just want a Word report or you want a PDF report. So, okay, I have gone through, I think, really rapidly a number of different things here. And I think that if we have some questions, we can probably allow for some time. There is a question here, and Tizak, maybe you want to, or Kathy, moderate this as well. But if there's anything more specific that anyone has questions about, I could certainly try to answer those.
All right. So we have one question here. Believe CSAF payment portal would require a giver to select a parish. When I visit the CSAF payment portal now, it appears to default to Catholic Services Appeal without a parish designation. To give me, many givers wouldn't know to select a parish where a parish may not get credit for sending traffic to the CSAF payment portal. Could this change back to earlier behavior requiring a giver to choose a parish or general gift if they so choose?
So Kathy, I think that this is referring to the online giving, online express in the Razor's Edge, if I'm not mistaken, and the selection of a parish that a gift is to be designated to. Am I understanding that correctly? I don't think this is actually Givingtrend related.
Yes, that would be under our black bot. So we will take a look at that and see what we can do with that.
Great, great.
Are there any other questions that anyone has? You can type it in the questions.
And Kathy, you might also, perhaps while maybe someone's pondering a question, do you want to talk about how you would like to switch over to this new version? I know we talked a bit about a transition period, and so that might be something that folks are interested in knowing, kind of the time frame and how that will work as well.
Yes, so the plan is to go ahead with the change over to the new Givingtrend on July 11th. And what we will be doing is sending out the webinar. We've recorded the webinar, and we'll be sending that out this week, and then going live on June 11th. And definitely, if there's questions, you can reach out to Givingtrend, or you can contact me at hilbyc@csafspm.org, or my phone number here is 612-254-7485. And if you'd like to, you can look on our Catholic Services Appeal Foundation website. My information is found on there. The go live date is July 11th. We wanted to wait till after the holiday. We've received a question on that. June 11th or July 11th? July 11th.
Yes, July 11th, yes. And if anyone has any questions or issues during that time, I know something that's new can sometimes be a little bit confusing. Hopefully the navigation is fairly straightforward and simple here, but again, it's new, so we understand if someone needs help with it, feel free to give a call. Or reach out either through Kathy or to me directly. I'm happy to give my email address. I think many of you have it, but it's mrubio, MRUBIO, at givingtrend.com. So MRUBIO at givingtrend.com. And I'm happy to get into an online meeting or walk you through or help you with any questions that you might have. If you need kind of a personal walkthrough, happy to do that as well, whatever will be useful. But hopefully things will be fairly straightforward in terms of just being able to log in and get what you need. So just checking to see if there are any other questions. Looks fairly straightforward. You might notice, I'll just point this out because I'm sure you're seeing some other menu items over here on the left-hand side. I want to be. You're probably also noticing that we're not walking through those. There are some things that other parishes, other dioceses, archdioceses use Givingtrend for. And so we're obviously not going to burden you with things that aren't relevant to what you're doing with CSAF. So when you log into Givingtrend, you'll see on the left-hand side items that are relevant to what we've just walked through. So if you see something grayed out or you see something not available, you'll see, in other words, slightly fewer items over here on the left-hand menu. Just want to point that out here in case anyone's wondering why there are some extra things over there that we're not walking through. Any other questions or comments, or Kathy or Tizak, anything else that you think would be important to address? I know I went through that kind of rapidly, kind of anticipating maybe there would be some more questions, but at the same time, I know many of you are also very familiar with Givingtrend and you're familiar with the data. I think important to point out that, you know, the information that we're providing is the same. Obviously, the graphs, the charts are upgraded. They're a little different. Some of them have a little more animation, maybe a little different coloring, that kind of thing. But this was all really about kind of a refresh, a little bit of a new look and new navigation to speed up the application, to process that data faster, and to give you kind of a refreshed look at information. If you do have any suggestions, you know, Givingtrend really was born in the Archdiocese there and with a couple of other archdioceses around the country, and we have every year added to its functionality based on listening to you and listening to users who have had some very good and thoughtful feedback. So if you have questions or you have something that you think would be really useful information to help further your work in the appeal, we're all about trying to accommodate that. I can't make promises that, you know, we can add things so immediately. There is a project plan in terms of what would be added next, but we really do listen to what your feedback is and try to incorporate it as quickly as we can, things that we know will be useful for parishes across the board. So feel free to share your ideas, share your thoughts with us, certainly with Tizak or with Kathy. But we're here to serve you, and we are grateful for you. If we can help in any way, please let us know. Is there anything else, Kathy or Tizak, that you think might be useful?
No, I think that's it, Michael. Thank you so much. Go ahead and stop sharing, or I can go ahead and start a video here.